What's up, you guys? It's Cody. So the other day I'm going through my dresser looking for something and I came across an old debit card that I've had for a really long time, and it got me thinking about how I never use it and why, once I discovered the power of these guys, I'll never use a debit card again. You see, using a credit card has a lot of benefits that a debit card doesn't have. Even though these look like debit cards, there's actually a lot of benefits to using a credit card that will benefit you as long as you understand how they work and how to use them properly, as well as have the discipline to do that and use it for your benefit. We're going to talk about why credit cards are better than debit cards right now. So, as I already mentioned, credit cards and debit cards work very similarly. They basically give you the ability to pay for something digitally instead of with a check or with cash. You know, credit cards and debit cards are actually like the modern form of writing a check. When you write a check, you go and give it to the merchant, who then has the piece of paper that they go to the bank and say, this person's agreed to give me this money out of their account. The credit card and debit card is basically just a quicker, faster, digital version of that. When you pay with a debit card, you're transferring money directly from your bank to the merchant at the time of the sale. Whereas when you use a credit card, you're putting that purchase onto a ledger, and the credit card company or the bank, if they've issued that credit card, is making that payment for you. So the bank or credit card company pays for that service right at the time of your purchase, and then you pay back that credit card company or bank at a future date. But as I mentioned before, there's a few key differences that you really need to understand about why credit cards are superior if you have the discipline to use them properly. And before I go into that, I know there's going to be a ton of people who say, credit cards are bad, you shouldn't do that, this isn't something that you want to use, avoid credit cards at all costs, they're only a drain on you, they're going to put you into a lot of debt. And frankly, that's just because these people don't understand them, or they haven't used them properly, and because they don't actually have the discipline to only buy stuff that they can actually afford. So my goal here is to give you a couple of reasons about why credit cards are superior to debit cards so that you can use them to your benefit. Let's jump in. Number one on our list is building credit. Having the ability to build credit with a credit card is so important. In today's society, you absolutely need credit to do just about anything. Your credit score is a score that's given to you, and it's based on a number of different factors that are supposed to show how willing and how able you are to manage your money effectively and pay your bills on time. Whether you're looking to rent a house, you're looking to buy a house, you want to rent a car, you want to buy a car, just about anything that you want to do in life is going to require credit. Just about any major purchase or decision, just about any major purchase that you make in life is going to require credit in some form unless you pay cash. In a lot of cases, you even need credit just to get a credit card. Now, there are cards out there that you can get started with that don't require a credit score, but some of the more advanced or complex cards do require at least a certain level of a good credit score. So by having a credit card and using it responsibly, you can show the banks and other credit card companies that you can manage your money and pay your bills on time, and you always make those payments every single month when they're due, and that will increase your score over time. Now, it's kind of funny actually, because the banks and the credit card companies, they want to know that you're going to pay your bills every single month, but they don't actually want you to pay them off in full, because otherwise the banks or credit card companies are not making any money on the interest that they're going to charge you. It sounds like a little bit of a catch-22, but they just want to make sure that they're getting consistent payments from you, collecting a little interest on that, and not having you go into default. The second item on our list that I want to talk about is that with a credit card, you can delay making purchases. This can be an extremely powerful benefit if you're self-employed, or you work on commission, or you're a small business owner, because sometimes when you're in this position, your next check may not come for a while. It may not come until next week. It might not come until next month. So having the flexibility to buy things that you need to keep your daily life running and then pay for that at a later date can be a great way to really kind of float your expenses for the time being until you can get back ahead. You know, I'll do this kind of often myself, where I'll buy stuff and I actually won't pay for it until later on. Sometimes it's a couple of days, but in most cases it's actually a couple of weeks after the fact that I actually pay for that purchase. This is great because it makes it easy to collect my next commission check from real estate sales and then just transfer some of that money over for taxes, a little bit to pay off all my bills, some for my savings, some for my investment, and the rest goes into my checking. You do have to be careful with this because you can get into a tight situation where you may lose the grace period that you have on your credit card, which I talked about in a video that I'll link to right up here. Go check that out if you want to know what that is. But you can lose the grace period, which then means you're going to be paying interest on that balance that you've got. So you do have to be careful with this. You want to make sure that you're paying this off in full every single month before you lose that, but it's a great way to kind of float your expenses until you get that next check. Like I said, this can have great benefits for anybody who works on commission or is self-employed or runs a small business. The next thing that I want to mention about credit cards is that if you get the right one, you can set it up where it doesn't cost you anything to have the card. You don't have to pay interest, you don't have to pay an annual fee, and there's basically no other difference of using a credit card versus a debit card. This is great because a lot of people look at credit cards and they automatically assume that that means that they're going to be paying fees, and they're paying balance transfer fees, and they're paying interest every single month. And that can be the case if you don't use it responsibly, but you've got so many other benefits that you can take advantage of. So if you use the credit card responsibly, you can really avoid a lot of that, and it doesn't cost you anything to use the card. And the next item on our list is that you can earn points with your card. Most credit cards are going to offer some form of cash back, or they're going to give you points, which you can then use to go shopping. You can use it to reduce the balance on your credit card, or my favorite, you can use it towards travel. Now, unfortunately, debit cards don't really give you this benefit because when you pay with the debit card, you're basically just making a transfer from your bank account to the merchant who you bought something from. Being able to earn points by using my credit card has been absolutely life-changing for me, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I've been able to take a number of free trips because of this, and I've still built up well over $5,000 worth of travel that I can use at any time to fly anywhere that I want to. And I got all of this just for using my credit card instead of a debit card. So I hope this was convincing for you on why you should use a credit card instead of using cash or paying with a debit card. I want to know, are you using a credit card in your day-to-day life? Why or why not? Drop a comment down below. I do read every single comment and will reply to you. I want to know what your thoughts are on this subject. Give me a thumbs up here on the video if you enjoyed this content for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel by clicking the button down below and that bell to get notified when I release new videos just like this one, and I'll see you in the next one.